All right, YouTube, so we're going to pick up here where we left off from the last video. What I've done up to this point and off camera was remove the fuel line. And remember how we disconnected the fuel pump fuse? So that allowed the fuel not to spray everywhere, but you still want to put something under here to collect that fuel that will leak out. And I didn't do that, so fuel leaked out, but it wasn't a lot. That line runs from here all the way around up to this spot right there. So you want to take that out, and now that whole thing is out of the way. Today's work will be finding where some of these lines go and disconnecting just any more sensors in this area to get them out of the way, and draining that transmission fluid, draining the power steering fluid, and removing the power steering fluid pump, as well as probably the belt as well. And I may buy another power steering pump for the car. I may not. I'm not too sure yet, but let's get going. Everywhere. I'm removing the heat shield for the exhaust manifold, and right now it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts are holding that on. So once you lift that out, you'll have access to the exhaust manifold in the back. So that's my current progress, while working to do all this other stuff that I was saying in the intro. So let's continue. All right, so the warm-arm bolt down at the bottom. So now let's see if this will come out. Somehow or another, there's definitely more than 4 bolts. So I'm gonna have to do some more disassembly to see where these bolts are. We go to the other side. Stay tuned. All right, so I got the shielding back far enough so that I can gain access to the exhaust manifold bolts. So I'm going to continue with that now. And I'm probably going to need to pull, they're on there pretty tight and they're pretty rusty. So I'm probably going to need a breaker bar to get everything started. Oh, how I love using the breaker bar. gonna go ahead and drain this first, and then I can work on finishing that part off when I get this out of the way. All right, so this is how dark that was. It's pretty dark. It needed to be changed anyway, so this is good that we're doing it. All right, so a pump makes that easy. I think they're like $11 at AutoZone, maybe even cheaper if you buy it online. Not too sure, but I would recommend it for this. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect it from the back over here, and we'll continue with this process. So let's go. Just like so. You want to have your can ready because you may get some seepage, power steering fluid. Get this ready. There definitely was some in this tube. Here you have some catch cans for this fluid. I've done pretty good so far, so and I'm going to work on taking the rest of this, so more stuff out, and just more and more stuff as we continue to work through all this. Cover this back up, and this will be replaced, but we'll find out how to take it out. It has like rubber shims on it. Need to tilt it so that the fluid comes out. And we'll use the pliers to take off this part. Back yet. Use the pliers to take out this part right here. Be careful getting it off. You don't want to hurt yourself. This one has some fluid in it as well. You can drain this too. So we're gonna run this down. Into our catch can. Just to drain it. That's disconnected. Pop it out over here. Pull it back like that. You might not need to remove any of that, but I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. Pop That took some engineering. This needs to be replaced as well. Damaged boots. Take you in so you can see all that damage. A lot to replace. It's an 8mm bolt. All right, be careful with this when you're taking it out. You don't want to damage it. I'm gonna put this bolt back through here and let it just hang off to the side here. could actually disconnect it up here. There's a disconnect spot. If you needed to replace this, you would replace this right here. This whole line here disconnects and runs down to where you just saw me undo it. All right, so what's next on our deconstruction? We got to get this axle out. I've already taken off the 32 millimeter bolt that has to be removed to get the axle to even move at all. Looks like we're going to have to take off all the steering linkages, say the outer tie rod. We're going to have to disassemble the suspension, and we might even have to take off and or get rid of our calipers and move them out of the way, just to have access to this stuff. So let's start taking stuff apart. I need to do a video specifically for changing out the suspension, because it's actually not a bad job. I think it actually is. It's probably like a 17. No, it's a 15. It's not a bad job. It just like anything dealing with this car, it requires some tools and a little bit of work, but you can do it. Tie rod has a 15 millimeter bolt. What we're going to do is take a hammer and hammer down on the head, and it should pop out. No need for a press. Got this 9-banger right here. We use this 9-banger, like I said a few seconds ago, to hit down on that head, on that surface. Right on the top of this part, it should come out. Just like that. These 9-bangers, they work. And like clockwork, we're gonna put our bolts back to where they were so that we don't have to deal with that issue. Later on. And we'll go ahead and disassemble the braking hardware as well and get it out of the way. I need to find some bungee cords or whatnot to string this up. Oh, I can use zip ties to string it up so you don't want any stress. And another video that I've already done, I'll link this up here as well, about brake kits. You want to keep your brake lines and brake hoses free of kinking, because that's just a means to having an accident where brake fluid will leak out and put you in some serious trouble. So don't do that. Don't not suspend this to where it has no kinks. If you do put kinks in it, you're running the risk of having some kind of injury, and I don't want that for you. So I'm gonna go find some zip ties. I'm gonna take all this off and zip tie it up, and we'll continue rolling. All right, so we got the suspension back jacked up and on the slot. Got the brake caliper over here fixed to the frame with zip ties, so it's not going anywhere, and I use 3 just to make sure, then 1 for extra loop. Now I'm working on getting this suspension component back in place so that I can hammer down on the steering knuckle, and that will allow me to separate the steering knuckle from the suspension. Or in most cases, use my foot to push down on it like so. that's how you do that. So we can then go back up to the top here, take out these bolts, and this whole thing will come out in suspension. So let's do that. All right, so we're back, and I gotta tell you, let me turn on this flashlight real quick. Hold up, it's a little dark in here. All right, so I got the axles out on both sides, and I'll tell you, if you're doing this for the manual, if you see how this casing for the transaxle looks like, you really can't get a pry tool like this, a pry tool like that, a pry tool like this to fit in there. And also, where is it? I have so much stuff everywhere, it's crazy. There's another tool. Yeah, this thing right here also will not fit in there because, and this right here is a CV axle puller tool. It's too big to fit around this way, that way, and or there's like a little hole you can snake through on the side, but you can't get it in there. What I found to work best is this tool right here. If you have a slide hammer, you take this tool and you put it at the top. So you slide it over the top. There's like a little hole right here. Slide it over the top and onto the casing for the CV axle, and you just hammer out. And that was essentially easy. It took forever for me to get to that step. I'm telling you, I'm saving you some time here. If you got a slide hammer, go ahead and take that out. If you've taken this out before, then you don't need to worry about it, but you know, mine wasn't, so I had to go about it the hard way. Sorry with the camera. Anyway, CV axles are out. All of this stuff, like the bushings for this, are gonna have to be replaced. My whole front end has got to come out and it's gonna need to be replaced. So I'm looking forward to that. Probably gonna do a video on changing out the inner tie rods as well, because you know, like I said, all this needs to go. Anyway, let's going to do it for the axles. I'm now going to rotate back up top here to see what else needs to be removed or disconnected on my way to now finally being able, once you get those axles out, you are pretty much able to remove the engine from the car. Remember, there's still stuff you got to disconnect. So like right here, this clutch hose, got to disconnect that because it runs all the way to the back of the car right there. So if you try to pull this engine out with that still attached, you're going to snap it, and that's a bad day for you. So I need to figure out how I'm going to get this out. I think you just take this whole thing out and pop it off. And oh, this is one of those transmission spots where you can look inside the transmission. I think this is it, or where you can see like the clutch or something. I think that's what that is. Anyway, let me work on this, and we'll move on to the next thing. Stay tuned. Back on top of the engine here, and start just disconnecting a whole bunch of shiz. Like right here, I think this one's like on the transmission case. Not even sure what that is actually, but we're gonna disconnect both of these because, you know, they can't sit up here like that when I pull the transmission out, so they have to be taken out. It looks like I'm gonna need two hands for this, so let me set you down. All right, so I got this one removed. There's like a little tab right here. Gotta just press down on, and then it slides out. So that's one. And I'm gonna reach down here and do this one as well. So you just press on that there, and then you just reach in here, pull it out, just like that. Now they're removed. What else is back here? There's always something else. May have to go up underneath to check it out. All right, focus crew, this is day 4, and I just kind of want to show you, wow, really? I just kind of want to show you where I am in the process. I've gone ahead and taken out the air compressor, AC compressor, excuse me, and I'm working on getting this power steering pump off of its location. So it's here, power steering pump, and AC compressor there. And there's one little bolt here, right there, I'm trying to get off. Well, just like a screw. I think I need an 18mm socket, which I don't have. It's crazy. I don't have an 18mm socket, so I'm gonna have to go and grab one of those. Over here, here's something interesting that you're gonna want to know. Once you get to taking off this slave cylinder hose here, you're gonna need like a little nipple on this hose piece here. Otherwise, you won't be able to get this off. And there's a retaining clip that goes right here on this little spot here. You have to pull that up with a flathead screwdriver. That retaining clip is sitting right here. So that's now pretty much all the transmission stuff disconnected, except for the wires and shifter cables, and I have one more speed sensor down at the bottom I got to go disconnect, and the transmission is ready to come out. And there's a lot of stuff that I need to do in here. It's stinking while shooting. Okay, so the next thing for me to do is work on this power steering hose, high pressure hose, to get it situated. Then I got one more bolt back here that I need to remove on this exhaust manifold, and I think we'll be almost there. I think that I will probably miss something that I'm going to have to take out, but we'll have to find it. And I'm going to try to get this out through the top, moving everything out of the way so that I don't have any issues. We're gonna work on that. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I'm gonna need some help to do a few more things on here, but that should be it. You can do most of this with one person, but when you are moving the engine, you want to have 2 people, especially so that you don't run into wire issues where you're disconnecting or breaking a clutch pipe or something like that. That'd be very bad for you. You just get stuff everywhere, and maybe more that you have to replace, and you don't want to be spending a lot trying to do a swap that you don't have to. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on this. Some of the stuff will be off camera, as I try to figure out where things go, and I can kind of update you as I move along. And yeah, so that's where I am right now, so stay tuned. All right, YouTube, so some more progress here. Look at my little contraption I did for the exhaust header. I unbolted the alternator, which you have to do that to get the shielding that's over here, the heat shielding. You have to unbolt the alternator and pull it out, and I dropped it down the bottom, the open gap down there. I dropped the alternator out through that gap. In order to get to separate the exhaust header from the car, I had to take out some bolts, obviously, but I jury-rigged it by running 3 loops of exhaust, what is this here, zip tie, and I zip tied it to the windshield wiper, and that pretty much pushed this out of the way. So it works for now. So yeah, if you're going to be doing this job, just realize that you will have to take the alternator out if you have heat shielding, if you need, and you're going to need to get the heat shielding off or back far enough to get at the bolts that hold on the exhaust header. Now in the video you saw that I was able to get most of the bolts out with the exhaust header pushed back, but in order to get it separated and get the heat shielding out, you have to remove the alternator to do that. So, this word of advice. Anyway, with this now back and out of the way, and there's a bracket down here at the bottom that you have to remove too, for this exhaust header, because it's you can actually see it right there. That thing right there, you have to. There's these little bolts here, and I think they are 14 millimeter. Yeah, so it's 14 millimeter bolts here that hold that bracket for the catalytic converter and header onto the block. So once you disconnect the exhaust header and disconnect that bracket that's down there, then you can pull back the exhaust header and catalytic converter away from the engine far enough to either remove it from the top or drop it out the bottom. So we are well on our way to being out of this thing. All right, so we're now under the car. I just wanted to show you this quick little bit here. So there's one sensor left on the transmission side, I think. And this one has like a Torx 30 bit, but it's connected to some shielding, some heat shielding. So be aware of that. You don't want to damage that. But this should just now be able to be pulled out, just like so. This might be some kind of speed sensor or something. I'm not too sure, but just be careful with it. The next thing I want to show you was when I was talking about the bracket that holds the exhaust manifold and catalytic converter to the block. That's it right there. That's that bracket. Once you remove that, you can slide the catalytic converter and exhaust manifold back, like I zip tied it up top. And look how much room I have to now move the engine up or down. Pretty cool stuff. And you know, I'm glad that it's worked out so far. But I need to see if there's anything left for me to disconnect while I'm around here. Or maybe this. Not even sure what that is. But yeah, the motor and transmission is now rocking back and forth because I disconnected the torque converter mount, or torque mount, excuse me. And yeah, here we are. I'm gonna take this out and sandblast it. This is pretty grimy. I'm gonna go ahead and unbolt that and sand that down and get it nice and ready for the engine. But all right, well, stay tuned. There'll be more to come in the next episode. I'm gonna end it there. I'm pretty sure I'm probably reaching 30 minutes again, and you know, want y'all sitting that long watching stuff. So stay tuned next episode. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Focused Hands is it's growing, man, and I appreciate each and every one of you that that have tuned into the channel, said a few words, you know, hated on it if you were hating on it, and you know, it made us better. It made me better in what I'm doing, and I feel much more confident now. Especially when I started. If you go back and watch my very terrible first episode, Focus Beyond Reasoning, I haven't done it yet for the X4 that's over there, sitting all pretty, but I'm still holding true to what I said. I was going to change the engine out, change the color, make the car faster, and that's what I'm doing. Even though it's the ST, I'm still going to do it to that car. Love that car, by the way. But yeah, you know, I'm still on target for completing what I said I was going to do. But again, like, comment, subscribe. Checking me out on Instagram at Focused Hands, Focus_hands down here. And you know, support your boy. You know, I need to put out some. I'm probably going to link a section to where you can, you know, donate to the channel so that I can get these projects done faster. What I'm doing is a complete overhaul for the engine and some of these suspension components that are going on that I found that are pretty in bad shape. Like the alternator's in bad shape, the compressor's in bad shape, and probably this power steering pump too. Spinning it, I hear clicking noises, and that's not what you want to hear with things, especially not the alternator. You don't want to hear any clicking noises. And the AC compressor was, it never worked. I turned it on and it was complete full of hot air, low pressure. So we know the compressor was bad. So There's a lot to replace, and I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel that way, it'll help get the stuff out faster so you can see these videos. But anyway, before I ramble on for another hour, Focused Hands out. Peace.